Derrick Henry. Grant, 1, 2, 4, 5.
Give me 2.
2. Oh man, sports talk. Go lie. We be lie, bro.
Oh shit!
Oh, okay.
Shit!
It's time. It's freaking time.
Shit!
Joe Burrow.
It's Joe Burrow still too.
No.
Big
Nah, hell no, he ain't.
No. It's Mahomes and then Allen. And then after that, you can take anyone else. I just think the problem is with Joe Burrow. I think a lot of people, because we have to think about it. Like he's been very injured ever since he got out to that Super Bowl and he beat Mahomes in Arrowhead. People have been like putting him in. Now, when I say this, I'm not trying to say like he's not a top 10 quarterback. That's not what I'm trying to say. People have been putting him in these high standards that I feel like with what I've been seeing, like especially look at this season. When he got hurt, after that, it kind of just felt like we were still trying to say that this dude was at least – I had people telling me Joe Burrow was still top 3 after he got hurt. Like, no. Like, I just don't think he's top 2 anymore because I just don't think – like, now, I'm not saying now this upcoming season, say hypothetically he just balls out and has an incredible season with Cincinnati. Yeah, you can have that conversation. But if we're talking, like, right now, he's not top 2.
All right. Who next? Who
Okay. Here's the thing: if you don't have Joe Burrow at 2, I struggle how you put him in the top 4, because whatever logic you're going to use to keep him away from 2, you're going to have to put him at 5 because you're going to put Josh Allen ahead of him. You're going to put at least you got to put Lamar ahead of him if you're going to use the whole
Lamar
injury argument, because Lamar just came off another MVP. So, and then also, I mean, I don't think people really put Aaron Rodgers in there anymore. But at the same time, like you look at it and it's like, if you're not going to put him at 2, he's going to start dropping to that 4-5 range. I still think when we saw him in the 2, I think it was 2 or 3 games this year, we saw him above 80-90% healthy. He balled out. He went crazy, right? He was a part of that original run that made the 49ers look fraudulent. All right, especially that secondary.
Right.
Now,
remember, they was in San Francisco too for that game.
If you take injuries into account in your rankings, which I do, then he's not number 2 for you. It has to be Allen. But if you don't take injuries into account, I think he's probably still either your second or at worst third best quarterback.
Ooh,
not wrong.
Hey, what's your thoughts on Burrow still top 2 in your eyes?
For me,
Champ with the fresh cut. I see you, Champ.
So, and here's why.
I just think he's bald.
Yes, a little bit up there, not much. But
y'all are assholes.
Hey man, we men, that's our jobs. Anyway, we all friends here. Ain't no strife. But
yeah, but we got Mr. Chinstrap as the host right here.
Yeah, the chin strap. Yeah. But if you really want to be, god damn, I can't even talk with you brothers. But if you really want to be honest with you, if we're gonna have this same conversation for Lamar Jackson as far as injuries, we have to have it with Joe Burrow. And hey, last I checked, if you're gonna go accolades, just strictly based on accolades. I mean, when I say this, and listen with your ears, not your mouth. If you're gonna go by accolades and accolades alone, the only person today that is even close to Patrick Mahomes is Lamar Jackson. He's the only one with 2 league MVPs. He's the only one with 2 All Pros.
Aaron Rodgers.
So, well, outside of the injuries, I would say.
Move broad.
But if we're gonna do it as far as the young quarterbacks are concerned, because I don't know how long Aaron Rodgers is gonna be in this league anymore. I mean, if he's even gonna be the same coming back this year. But if we're gonna go accolade to accolade, the only person that's even touching Patrick Mahomes right now is Lamar Jackson. He's the only one outside of any. Josh Allen does not have an MVP as of yet. He's been throwing a hell of a lot of interceptions each year, and each year it's been getting progressive. Each year it's been like my weight, progressively worse.
Oh my goodness!
So it's been progressively worse. So I mean, then when you think about Joe Burrow, he's only been in the league 4 years. In 2 years, he had season-ending injuries. 2 years. 2 years. So Justin Herbert, he's only been in the league 3 years. Injuries, some of the same things. So the only person, if you really want to look at it, accolade to accolade, peak for peak, that's touching Patrick Mahomes right now outside of the Super Bowls is Lamar Jackson. And people can read into that what they would like to read into. Because if you really think about it, that's why they're calling Patrick Mahomes the Michael Jordan of the league, because he's beaten every last one of them in his own conference. He's stopping them from winning championships. So if we're going to talk about accolades, and we're going to talk about peaks, and we're going to talk about all pros and awards, we're not even going to mention the Pro Bowl. That's just out the window at a certain point. The accolade to accolade, the only person that's touching Patrick Mahomes right now is Lamar. And when we talk, and for people who talk about accolades and stuff like that, don't matter and all of that, just ask the Hall of Fame and how they're going to base you I ain't never seen not one guy who never made a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro get into the Hall of Fame. So argue with the Hall of Fame.
Well, the Hall of Fame sucks, though. But anyway.
How the Hall of Fame sucks, man.
I've seen one player make it to the Hall of Fame with dog shit numbers. I've seen one player make it to the Hall of Fame with dog shit numbers.
Yeah, Joe Namath.
Joe Namath.
Yeah, but the thing is, people don't think about this when it comes to the Hall of Fame.
Sammy Ball made it with more career interceptions than touchdowns.
Why the fuck Troy Aikman there?
I'm about to say Troy Aikman too now.
To be honest with you, people don't understand this when it comes to the Hall of Fame. And hear me out on this. The main criteria of the Hall of Fame is, can the NFL write its history without you? You can't write the history of the NFL without Joe Namath. You can't. And if you tell me you can, you're a liar.
I could really easily, but that's just as me.
The guarantee game.
You're going to be nasty with it.
Every player, champ, has done this.
Again.
Who cares that he did it 60 years ago in a fur coat in the middle of Bronx? Who gives a fuck?
Without the guarantee game, we are not looking at the AFC or the AFL on the standard that the NFL was. So you can't write the history of the NFL without it. That one game alone put the AFL on the map. Because the thing was, before that time, Vince Lombardi and the NFL themselves was considered miles ahead of them. Go back and look it up. Troy Aikman. You cannot write the history of the NFL without Troy Aikman. Because you can't talk about the dynasty of the Dallas Cowboys without Troy Aikman. You can't talk about it.
Yes, you can.
How?
Emmitt Smith. That offensive line. Michael Irvin.
Deion Sanders.
And you can write the history of
Charles Haley.
You can write the history of that dynasty without Troy Aikman winning that Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, it's going to be bad reporting, but yeah, I can do it.
Again,
that's
no,
nasty.
You cannot. You can't write the history of the NFL of that dynasty and the Cowboys without Troy Aikman, because he was the cornerstone of that dynasty.
No.
I agree with everything you just said, Champ, except for that last part. The cornerstone, that's a little wild.
He was the first overall pick, the first one that Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson drafted in '89.
And
arguably the greatest draft class you ever want to see.
Champ, what did your eyes tell you what he was on the field?
They did not throw the ball a lot. I can understand what you're saying there, but you still cannot write the history of that dynasty.
I agree with you. I just
Jimmy Johnson, Charles Haley, Deion Sanders, that offensive line.
That's what I disagree with.
Huh?
I mean, he's still a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's still a good quarterback. Troy Aikman was. He was good. He wasn't a world beater. But guess what? He won 3 Super Bowls. I mean, y'all act like if Steve Walsh would have ended up being the starter that Dallas would have won one. I doubt that.
I mean, I don't know. You could put me behind with them weapons and that old line. I could do.
And none of those. Wait a minute. Outside of Larry Allen, none of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. None of them. Not one.
Hey, Nate. Is Burrow still top 2 to you?
No, not right now. I mean, for me, it's Mahomes. Then everybody else. Then second, I have Lamar. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to talk about it?
No, I still think Joe Burrow top 2.
I agree. I'm with last word on this.
I mean,
I
listen,
agree,
man.
Joe Burrow.
This is how I rank quarterbacks. If you want to take in factors and consideration, the injuries and stuff, so be it. That's on you. But how I rank, if I go based off, if I'm going into the Super Bowl tomorrow, who do I want at quarterback? And first and foremost, of course, Patrick Mahomes. And then who's second after that? To me, it has to be Joe Burrow. I mean, he's the only guy who's shown you that he can even make the plays down the stretch to seal a game, to beat the quarterback to be beaten. And that's what it comes down to. I get it, like that's stereotypical, or that's a cop out, whatever the case may be for some people. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get to the dance and win. And who gives me the best chance to do that? Joe Burrow gives you the best chance of any quarterback right now outside of Patrick Mahomes, because he's proven that. He's shown that. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but when he's gone up against these better quarterbacks, he plays better typically. I mean, he has outplayed Josh Allen in 3 games that they played against one another. He has. He's done that. That's happened. So that can't just be ignored.
But Champ, I got a question for you. When it comes to Joe Burrow being number 2.
Yes, sir.
So people right now are comparing Michael Jordan to Patrick Mahomes. In the 90s, Jordan did lose in the 90s. Who did he lose to? Shaq. Now, unfortunately for Shaq, there was a guy named Hakeem Olajuwon in front of him. And I don't think we view Matt Stafford the same way we view Hakeem Olajuwon. I don't think we're sitting here going, man, Matthew Stafford's clearly better than Joe Burrow.
Hakeem Olajuwon was Aaron Donald.
So right now, I think what you got to look at is the guy that's able to dethrone the king is the guy who people are going to put second until someone else does it. I think that's just how people are going to rank it right now. The next person that beats Patrick Mahomes, let me tell you, if Brock Purdy would have won this Super Bowl with the Niners, people would have been putting him in top 3, top 4 conversations.
Probably.
That he didn't belong in, but they would have been putting him in those conversations. Why? Because he's slaying the king. It's the same thing people are going to do with Joe Burrow. He's the one guy who has the leg up on the record with Patrick Mahomes. Even though he's nowhere close to him in accolades, he's the only one that's slaying the dragon.
Not to mention, he also did it with a dog shit O-line.
Sports talk. You don't even have to bring up accolades. He's just not close to it as a player to Mahomes. He's just not. No, I'm
talking about everyone after Mahomes. And I'm saying that's the same thing with Jordan, is that no one could be close to Jordan during his prime. And right now, the only guy to beat this version of Jordan has been Burrow. So that's the only guy that, no matter what logic you use, that's the only logic that you can go to and it not really be busted. Because if you go with the health argument, it's not going to work. If you go with the skill and talent argument, it's not going to work. The only one you can really go with is that he's been the one guy to be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
But Lamar has beaten Mahomes before.
Not in the playoffs.
Not in the playoffs.
Yeah, sure, but y'all really would take Burrow over Lamar?
Lamar, and I love Lamar.
I love Lamar Jackson, but yes, I'm taking Joe Burrow over Lamar. 10 out of 10.
Joe Burrow over Lamar. Joe's a better thrower.
The problem with
we're gonna level it by saying, okay, Joe Burrow did make it to the Super Bowl. I give him that 100%. Obviously,
I'm not even going off that. He's a better thrower.
It's not about y'all are just looking at it from the perspective of making it to the Super Bowl. It's about the fact that when he's asked to be the best on the field, when they need him the most, he consistently gives them that. That's what
Lamar does that too, though.
No, he does not.
Here's the problem.
Nate, don't lie, bro.
No. Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Did not do it in the playoffs.
He literally sold that.
Lamar's.
Are we really going to say, okay, that's just on Lamar for that?
No, it's not that it's just on him, but he played a bad game. That's what it is.
I mean, sure, that anybody could play a bad game. I mean, I agree on that line.
Let's not make excuses, bro. He played a bad game. He can't be over a guy who has shown he can live up to the moment. That's just what it is.
To be honest with you, Nate, can I ask you a question real quick? I'm sorry, last word.
Let
me ask you something. If Jim McMahon wouldn't have won a Super Bowl with that defense in Chicago, what would we be saying about him right now?
Top 10.
No. I'm just asking. If Jim McMahon wouldn't have won that Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears, what would you have said about him right now?
Nate thinking in his head. Nate thinking in his head, who the fuck is that?
Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. If Phil Simms does not win with that defense and Lawrence Taylor with the New York Giants, what are we saying about him?
A choker.
I get that.
And let's think about this. if someone does not win with that 2,000 Bucks defense or that 2,000 Ravens defense, what are we saying about those quarterbacks? So why, when it's Lamar Jackson and he has this stifling defense, are we giving him excuses? I understand that throwing the ball 47 times is really not of Lamar Jackson, but guess what? You're the quarterback. You're gonna be put in situations where you have to do that in certain situations.
So we blame. Can we blame? Okay, by that, I agree on that part of it. I agree on that part. So my question is injuries and a true issue for Burrow going forward?
I think it is.
Yes,
I mean, it might,
especially because they haven't addressed the offensive line.
It might be.
I mean, like I said, you might as well have me out there at the offensive line position right about now because Joe Burrow is quite little. They're just standing like this and doing this right here, doing the U at this point.
Joe Burrow is quite literally turning into Andrew Luck before our eyes. That's what's happening.
How do you want better, Burt Jones?
All right,
Burt
Jones is crazy.
Burt Jones.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Wow.
I still Burrow top 2 because what I've seen with people when they rank their quarterbacks, they do it off accomplishments and accolades, especially accomplishments, this and that. Okay, so if you're going to go off of accomplishments, why is Aaron Rodgers not top 2 and Justin Herbert is top 5?
Y'all sleep, bro.
If you're going to go off
Bro, not even better than
because Rodgers, 4-time MVP, he's won a Super Bowl. He has the accolades to be up there.
Although there is one thing though, I think people overestimate and overvalue what Burrow has done in the playoffs to an extent. Like people talk about he's like this great performer in the playoffs. If you go back and look at the scores of the games and his numbers, he is not that damn incredible, especially against the Chiefs. The games have ended 20-23 just about every damn time. Yeah. And in the game that the Chiefs lost to the Bengals in the playoffs, it was because the Chiefs offense absolutely had a blunder in overtime.
I'm gonna